transcends all. Love is gentle as a rose. Love can conquer any war. It's time to take a stand. Brothers and sisters, join hands. We gotta let love rule. Let love rule. We gotta let love rule. Let love rule. Love transcends all space and time, and love can make a little child smile. Yes, it will. Oh, can't you see? Can't you see? This won't go wrong. But we gotta be strong. We can't do it alone. We gotta let love rule. Let love rule. We got to let love rule. Let love rule. We got to let love. Let love rule. We got to let love rule.
Oh yeah, letting love rule. Awesome.
It's the only way.
Way to open us up. And actually, people will notice that maybe that tuned in a little bit early may have noticed that there was no sound. So having you come in with that song, perfect.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was going,
I'm not hearing anything.
I know.
What am I missing? Absolutely wonderful, Pierre. And I love that song, Let Love Rule.
Yeah.
Love can conquer wars. It can, we always hear the saying, love conquers all.
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Yep.
If we let it rule, if we lead with love.
Exactly.
And man, could we use more of that in the world? What do you think?
I think so.
I think so as well. So listen, Pierre, thank you so much. We'll see you a little bit later. Actually, we'll hear you after the meditation, and then we'll see you a little bit later as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful opening. And to everybody else, I wanted to say welcome to this midweek break, whatever you call it, midweek break. I know that some of you watch us with your tea on Thursdays. I get notes from people who are watching us on Fridays, or they pick a time during the week and they join us in during that time. So whatever time you're watching us, thank you for showing up, being here with your consciousness. I'd like to right now just bring you right into this moment, and then I'll move slowly into our meditation. But I just want to bring you into this moment, and I want you to forget everything that happened beyond this moment that you're joining us. Come into this moment, stay in this energy. This energy is a loving, kind energy. That is what we're here for. We say in this philosophy, there's a divine source. Whatever that is for you, whether you call it God, love, light, peace, joy, just recognize that you are part of it, that it is part of you. As Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. You are the spiritual person who has shown up here today to be present, to come into this consciousness and into this light. And so with that, I recognize that we're all connected. Whether it's through technology, whether it's through thought, whether it's through energy, we're all connected to one another. And that divine thread that goes through each and every one of us is what we call consciousness. It's called creative force. It's called life force. And that is who and what we are. We have had a wonderful month to focus on caring and kindness. And I hope for you that that is showing up in a way that is life-changing and something that you continue to do. No matter what our beliefs are on this planet, whatever it is that we believe, we can come together in a place of peace and kindness and love and understand that that is the most important thing behind everything. So from that perspective, I give great gratitude for you being here. I give gratitude for the teachings that we have in this philosophy. I give great gratitude for all the teachers whose shoulders I stand on, and who have gone before me, the teachers who are alive now and the teachers who are not. And as I moved through my ministerial studies, and as I moved through this life of ministry service, I recognize that light in every single person that I meet, and what a blessing that is. So it's from that perspective that I release all of this good thought, all of this good energy, all this light into the universe, into the law that just knows what to do, so that if you say you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. And that's where I leave this. So I release it, I let it go. And wherever you are, if you're comfortable to say it, and so it is, just allow that energy to flow through you. And so I'm really grateful that you're here tonight. And we have an amazing lineup for you. We have the amazing Dr. Liza Marquez, who's with us. And of course, you've seen Pierre. You've heard him saying he's with us tonight, as he is every week. We're so grateful for that as well. And I get to do the meditation tonight. So I just invite you to spend the next 15 minutes, just sit back, enjoy, and allow yourself to be fully present. And I like to do a mind-body connection, a mind-body-soul connection in my meditation. So I'm going to focus on caring this week. So keep that at the fore of your mind. And I invite you to do this. If it's comfortable for you, just close your eyes and come into this moment. Take maybe 3 deep breaths together. And as we breathe in, we'll breathe in peace, love, joy. And we'll release anything that is no longer serving us. And once again, take a deep breath in. And release anything that no longer serves. And for the 3rd time, take a deep breath in. Release anything that no longer serves. As I come to this point in the service of meditation, I recognize that anything that is serving my highest good will go into that positive vibrational energy that I am. I recognize that any sound I hear, anything that is external from me, just allows me to go deeper into this conscious state that I call love. I want you to feel the connection of your feet to the ground. Recognize that that is your grounding, that is your safe place. As we move through the meditation, always move back to the feet. That grounds you to the earth. As we work our way through our external body, recognizing that it feels everything from the air around us to the surface we sit on. Just recognize that that is just the physical form. Who we really are is vibrational energy. We are love, kindness, caring. And just as you recognize that you're grounded, also recognize that you are infinite. Recognize that you are part of this infinite source, this infinite divine life. Recognize the particles that make up you also make up the air we breathe, everything else in our environment. Everything is vibrational energy. The sound of my voice is vibrational energy that your body just hears and interprets. Recognize that even with your eyes closed, you can see things in the universe that are present in your mind. Our minds create visions that we need to see. With that sense of floatingness, the feeling that we're floating in this universal energy, I want you to think of a place in your mind where you can go and just be. Some of us, that may be a grassy field with sunshine down on us, laying in a grassy field, hearing the wind rustle the leaves, blades of grass that are whistling. See it. For some of us, it may be laying on a beach with an ocean nearby, hearing the sound of the waves crashing as the tide rolls in. See that. At safe places in the middle of a forest, laying on a mossy ground, hearing nature's harmonious orchestra above us as the wind rustles through the leaves of the trees. Wherever your safe place is, whatever that looks like to you, just sit in stillness for a moment and feel surrounded by that safety. that safe place. It is a place of infinite possibilities. This is the place where anything is possible. This is the place where creative life force is just lived. Visualize that for yourself. What does that feel like when there is no stopping whatever the truth of who you are is, and it's just allowed to be? Sit in that. Now imagine that infinite possibility, seeing the life that you want and knowing that you can create it no matter what. Knowing that whatever I decide, whatever I choose for my life is available to me. And recognize that I'm an individualized expression of this creative force, this life force. I feel and know what is mine to do, and I live in that place of truth for myself. I recognize that the divine is in me, is not something outside of myself that says yes or no to me. It simply reacts to that vibrational energy that I give it. I live in a place of truth and light and love, caring. And true caring is remembering who I am. And when I step into the world from that place of truth, that light, that love, whatever is mine to do, whether it's singing or dancing or living in service, whether it's being a grandparent or a parent, whatever energy you're giving, whatever it is that you're doing, from that place of truth and love and light that you are, that is this creative energy that we're talking about. Now, sitting in this safe place, let's go outside of ourselves and knowing who we are and looking at the rest of the world. How do we see the world? What stories or ideas do we need to let go to see the world the way that we believe the world to be? That same vibrational energy that is around us is the energy that we see in the world as well. We need not go into energy that does not serve the highest good. but remain in this state of mind, this place of passion, this place of infinite possibility. As I sit here right now, I recognize that as this meditation comes to an end, that vibrational energy that I'm speaking of for each and every one of us is the divine source. It is always present. Wherever it is that I'm sitting, any time that I go into the vibrational energy, the truth of who I am, that I access this powerful energy first. And so I ask you to come back to this place where you feel your feet on the floor, where you feel your physical body starting to recognize that you're connected to the chair and to the floor. Our mind is a powerful tool, and it's up to us to decide how that tool is used. We can choose love, caring, kindness, and that's what will be returned to us, multiplied abundantly. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. With that I say, with great gratitude, namaste.
I live, breathe, give, receive. I laugh, love. I'm a part of what's here, being. Still to be seen. I live, breathe, I love, love, love. Breathe, I love. I am, I feel, I hurt and heal. I sing and play, live every day to be and see the best parts of me. I breathe, I love, love, love. I live, breathe, I love. I live, breathe. I love.
Oh, Pierre. Oh, thank you very much. Ah,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, so when services were being put together a long time ago, I remember thinking, well, do we do a song after meditation? Do we not? Maybe we just like come out of the meditation, then do a song. And I just went through the thing and I was like, no, I think we should probably try the meditation right into the song. And I got to tell you, whoosh.
It takes you there.
It takes, if you weren't already there,
Yeah.
it just takes you and keeps
Or
you
keeps you there.
I said it keeps you there, absolutely. Yeah, if you were on your way up, you just, you were 9,500 feet.
Yeah.
Just to get to that 10,000 feet, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that, Pierre.
It was my pleasure.
Awesome. And I do love that song. I live, I breathe, I give, I receive. It's all part of the universal cycle, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And here we are. So thank you again. And we will see you a little bit later, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Pierre.
Okay.
And to everyone else, I just want to say, I hope you went on a little ride with that meditation. I know I certainly did. And then the song afterwards. It is my distinct pleasure, my honor, and my joy, actually, to bring on the incredible Dr. Liza Marquez. We're going to have a wonderful discussion tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about what caring means, and then we're going to talk about the course that of course, Dr. Liza is in Toronto, and we're also going to cover some of the thing itself, the first chapter in the mind. So what an exciting, welcome, Dr. Liza. So good to see you.
Reverend Fred, I'm so excited to be here. I love every time when we were just saying earlier how you and I can be in a conversation on a road trip from the east to the west and still have more to say.
You know what? I believe that to be true.
It is true. When we talk, it's like, wait, I'm about to jump on a flight, but we're not done yet. So let me call you back when I land.
It is absolutely incredible. And we always say there's no time or space in this philosophy. And you know what? Actually, and we actually had Pierre who was talking also too about a concert about that he was playing. And it was like 4 hours later, and he realized it was 4 hours later. And when you're in that vibrational energy, when you're uplifted like that, when you're really present, even like, in the meditation, it's like recognize that you're just, you're physically here, but you're connected to this universal bubble. I used to call it a bubble. And you can truly choose to live in that bubble and recognize that it's just a good vibrational energy that is going around and flowing from you and coming back, and right. And
well, I felt that way in the meditation. I will tell you, it was like I went somewhere else, right. and then came back.
Good.
Well, feels really good.
That's awesome. And the best part of that is that, well, first of all, anyone can play the meditation again if they want. They can go back and watch it a second time or third time. That's awesome. But beyond that, you can go there. Someone can go to that place. I could be in the middle of a chaotic meeting and have to like check out for a minute, and I will literally do some deep breathing. I will suddenly find myself going back into that vibrational energy that I'm good, I'm light, I'm love, I'm kindness, regardless of the circumstances around you. I think that's what our trained mind as teachers, as learners in this philosophy, as perpetual students, always learning, always growing. I think that once you learn to do that, once you're in that place of I'm spirit, I'm light, I'm peace, I'm joy, and it's all around me, and I can access it at any moment. What did James used to call it? Consciousness on demand.
Yep.
God on demand, whatever that was.
Yep.
Right. And you know what? I think, so the longer I live this way, the more natural that is for me to get to.
Well, and I think that's part of when we talk about who we are, like who are you truly,
Yes.
and moving out of the space of having the world tell you who you are, right. And into the space of like, am I going to let the world inform me of who I am, or am I going to inform the world who the world actually is?
Oh my gosh. You are tapping into something that is so prevalent in my life right now. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, people need to know we really don't plan our discussion. We go, we're going to talk about this. And this is not even on the cards. It's not even anywhere that we had talked about, but I think it's a necessary discussion. And I'm a firm believer that if something comes to mind, then someone needs to hear something that I'm about to speak. And I think you live in that vibrational energy as well.
Absolutely.
That what needs to be spoken will be spoken, and it doesn't matter if it's written on paper or not, or like, it doesn't matter. It's written in on our spiritual chart.
Yes.
That's kind of cool, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it needs to be expressed. So from that place, our theme was caring this month. What has like caring brought anything up for you? Like how has living, because we've been on there actually 5 weeks this month, because
Yeah.
we started on May 1st and we're ending on May 31st. So
Isn't that funny?
So the theme has been caring for 5 weeks here.
Yeah.
So does anything come up for you? Like what has it brought up for you?
Well, I think a lot comes up for me. The first is self-care, and because that's the most important, and also care for others. But what actually occurred to me when I was at Global Truth Center here in Los Angeles, I did a talk for Mother's Day and during the month of caring. And what I really got is also like not just caring, but what are you carrying?
Oh, very
You
good.
know, what are you carrying? Because it's important that we check in with ourselves to know what it is that we're carrying. And I know we'll discuss this later, but this brings me to a point where we had class this yesterday, really great class, amazing students. Honestly, at this point, it's like I'm just there to watch, because it's almost like I'm getting taught. The
Perpetual
students
student.
are amazing. And the words and, what comes out in our discussions really is just advancing the class. I may have a, lesson plan or what have you, but really the discussion that we have in class really moves itself, and it always stays on point. But the reason I bring that up is because one of the things that I had the students do is really kind of understand what it is that they are, how they are being out in the world. Like when something happens, check in to see, like, if a strong feeling or strong emotion shows up, like anger, or a strong emotion for happiness, or a strong emotion for sadness, whatever it is, what is the thought that is actually attached to a belief that comes up right before that, so that you can really notice what your tendency of thought is, as Ernest Holmes says. So for me, when I'm really caring about who I am, I check to see what I'm carrying around, and if it still works for me or if it doesn't.
Mm. Yeah, and we carry that's why I love the themes, by the way, because we do get to actually focus in and hone in on those things. And then, I always think, "Oh, what am I going to talk about? I said it all in the first week," and then all of a sudden the month goes, no, there's more to say. We're going to keep throwing stuff at you because there's more to know, Rev Fred. You're going to keep getting it, right? And probably the same as with you. And
100.
it's true. It's like, what is happening out there, but it's also what is happening in here that's actually bringing the feelings about what is happening out there. Because two people can look at the exact same situation, one say, it's horrible, this is the worst thing ever, and the other person go, this is the best thing ever, right? So it's us, it's what we bring to the table, it's what we bring in our thought. And if we're holding on to those old antiquated beliefs that I wasn't enough, or whatever, that insecurity can come up, that everything else. I read an interesting thing that talked about that with different things. It said, if somebody is angry, what they're really saying is, I need love. If somebody is talking too much, or like is aggressive, what they're really saying is they're insecure. And all of a sudden, when you start to look at the world and say, this person that, might have otherwise maybe got under my skin for something, or I might not have been able to see what it is, all of a sudden I can go, hold on, and have grace for them, but also for myself, that when I feel it, exactly what you said, I'm getting angry. What I'm really saying is, I'm not feeling loved, or I'm not feeling X, Y, Z, because if I did, I wouldn't be angry.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Because it really makes you take a look at what is motivating me to be or act a certain way.
Yes.
Let me pause for a moment and see what's come up so that I can kind of check in with myself.
Yes. And if you do it from a loving, caring place, I think that is the what do you call it? The nugget is that you've got to do it from a loving and caring place. You can't be looking at the circumstances in your life or even your reactions to things if you're stuck in that place of not care, not a loving place. Some of the worst decisions that we can possibly make sometimes come from a good intention, right? But not the truth of who we are.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
place of grace, yeah. So, do you want to say the theme this week? Well, the affirmation this month, or do you want me to say?
I was looking for my phone to see because I had it on my phone. Do you mind?
I don't mind doing it all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it once, and then I'm going to invite other people to join in with me. So wherever you are, just say it, but say it from that place of conviction, right? So I care for myself by remembering who I am. And then just say it with me and say it wherever you are. I care
I
for
care
myself
for myself.
by remembering who I am. And that's exactly what Dr. Liza and I are talking about right now. And
I care for myself. Think about that when you say I care for myself by remembering who I am.
yeah, let that sink in.
Yes. I think that's a big deal.
It is, and it's a very powerful statement. But it's not just a statement. You see, like affirmations are always like that, aren't they? We can like rattle them off, change your thinking, change your life, wonderful. But when you really embody what it is behind the statements, that's when the magic happens, isn't it?
Yes.
And speaking of magic, talk more about your class. So listen, you're halfway through. I think you're about halfway through, correct?
We just finished our 4th class this past week, and it has been amazing. We've had, like I said, the conversations that we have just keep evolving. It's, emergent evolution. It just keeps evolving so that we are really getting whatever it is that we need to get. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be like, wow, these are great nuggets. Sometimes there's like a little like, no, and I think it's kind of like it's the coal turning into a diamond from the friction, It's, you need all of it in order to be able, sometimes those nuggets and those aha moments come like, oh, I get it. And sometimes it's because of the friction. And I'm not saying that, you need to agree with everything, because there are things that will show up and come up in whatever it is that you read or whomever it is that says it. But instead of just saying no and turning away, it's like, why am I having this big reaction to it? Let me sink a little bit deeper. And maybe the meaning will change, or maybe you will go, this is why I don't agree with it. XYZ,
Yeah. And then maybe in 5 years from now, you hear it again, and this time it'll go, aha, because that's where I am in that moment.
And that is exactly what's happened to me.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So many times, with, like even with the word God, right?
Oh, yes.
Full circle on that.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're bringing that up, because that is something that for me, when I hear God, I go love. So now God is associated with love. I remember people used to come to our center in person. I remember this one person who came. I just would love for him to come back. And he actually has reached out online a couple of times recently. But this young man came in and I said, so, and he goes, this isn't like one of those God places, is it? And I went, well, when you hear the word God in your head, try changing it to the word love, because we don't think of God as something out there that's judging, and it's not this big thing that's overflowing and coming down and saying you get a car and you get a car and you get a crappy life. It's not that. Right? I go, it's love, it's energy, it's the all. And that is actually in chapter 1, the thing itself, by the way. Funny how that just sort of
Always.
its way in. But I remember, because I live in a community that is often persecuted by the word God. There are a lot of people who go, God hates, whatever. And even that concept, God hates, is just so foreign to me, because it's not the truth, you know? And a lot of people who come to this philosophy come to it because they understand that it's spiritual in nature, but it's not God damning anything.
Right.
It's not a damning of anything. It is a celebration that we are these spiritual entities in this vast universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just allowing us to have, the more I do this teaching, and I talked about it yesterday, and one of our students used the word as well, which really, I said, I love that word. And she said, individualized. And the more I grow into this teaching, the more I realize that we're not individuals. We are individualized. We are individualized expressions of this one intelligent source that I choose to call God, and others may choose to call love, or the universe, or intelligence, or first cause, or whatever it is. But I no longer really say, and I also spoke about this in Los Angeles, because for me personally, I don't like to say the word individual. For me personally, there's a sense of separation. And when I say individualized, I am still tethered to that power that is everything, everything that is constantly growing and creating and knowing itself, expressing itself.
Yes. And we are, and the whole purpose of God or the universe or light or love is to be expressed.
Yes.
What is the purpose of life? I was like, I always had an answer somewhere, but I never really formalized that answer. And now it's just God to me, or light or love, is just desiring to be expressed. So we are individualized expressions of the entire thing. We are not, you're right, absolutely 1000%. I could not agree more. We are not individual, because that says I'm an island on my own.
Yeah.
But we're all connect, just like the leaves on a tree. They're not individual. They're all drawing from source, right? They're each drawing from source, but they're all connected. They're leaves, right? They're individualized of the same source, of the same tree, whatever that is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Ernest Holmes, he said something like, all the power of the universe is within. Feel it, know it, and act as if it's true, because it is.
Yes. Yes. And I have a quote from the thing itself. Listen, we're having a round. This does not surprise me that we're having a roundabout conversation based on whatever is coming up. And I'm trusting and knowing that everybody's going to get it. This is kind of a summary of the thing itself. First of all, what is the thing itself? Maybe just give an expression. We've just talked about that.
Yes. Well, the thing itself is essentially God, source, love, whatever you choose to call it. It is this energy that is everything. And that's what Ernest Holmes was saying. And I think part of the reason why he said it the way he said it, calling it the thing itself, was to make it seem somewhat impersonal. Right. It's like there's a consciousness, there is an energy, there is this thing, the thing itself.
Yeah. Universe.
And then we get to call it whatever it is that we choose to call it, because I think, partially a lot of in we even talked about this in class yesterday. The first sentence in that is, he says something to the extent of science and religion walking hand in hand. Yeah. And that is essentially what we're doing now. So science, quantum physics may call it one thing, religion or spirituality calls it something else. But if you sit there and just read, they're essentially saying the same thing. Absolutely. And the thing is, you can't have science without spiritual, like you can't have science without the energy behind it. And you can't have religion without the science, because otherwise it's just airy-fairy. Right. So he does start the chapter with that. And I always love that he cannot wait until the world, to religion and science walk hand in hand. I always, and that's what Science of Mind is. And I got to show people this book, because I got this book 10 years ago in 2010. So that's already 13 years ago. And there's a reading each day. I mean, I have taped. Oh, mine is like that too.
I mean, it is so worn and tethered, and everywhere has like bookmarks and all of that. And you can do your reading every single day. I do a reading almost every single day. Rarely do I miss a day.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how when I read something now, I go, have I read that before? Because
Yeah.
it's so new to me, and it's so exactly where I am. But it is where I am, right? Because that is what this divine source is that we're talking about. It comes from where you are, and that's the individualized, not the individual, but the individualized. That's what's mine to do. Where I am now, you know, I happen to be Reverend Fred. You happen to be Dr. Liza Marquez. You know, wherever you are on your journey, you don't need the title, because you already, if you're living it, it doesn't matter what name you give it, what you call yourself. And like you said, it's no respecter. It doesn't pick. It just says, what do you believe? Because I'll just keep showing you what you believe.
Right.
You believe this? There it is.
And here's what I've come to realize, Reverend Fred, is that because this consciousness only knows love, that's all it knows. It just knows to give. It just knows to be love. It just knows to be joy. So when we, as the individualized expression of it, have a belief that is maybe something that we don't want to experience, or something happens around the world, like, well, how can that happen if God is love? But you see, the thing about love is it only knows love, and therefore it only believes that this is how you believe love is translated.
Right. Oh, I love that.
It's never like, well, you might want something crappy, so here you go.
Yeah.
It's going, I only know love. And because you're a part of me, you must only know love. And if this is what you need to experience, it must be a version of love. And in a way, Fred, I will tell you this. My divorce was probably the most amazing thing that ever happened to me, because it brought me to where I am. So to think that somehow what I went through in a divorce was love, most people would say that's not true. But I'm here to tell you, on the other side of it, I've come to realize that it is true.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing that you've come to that. We've never had this discussion, but I say the exact same thing about my separation after 25-year relationship as well. And I often say to people and friends will say, you have the most loving separation that I've ever seen. You have more love in your separation than a lot of people have in their existing relationships. Because you can, and it was Jonathan Zenz, by the way, Reverend Jonathan Zenz, in this philosophy, who actually taught me that, because I went to see him for a treatment when we had decided we were going to separate. And he said, well, what is it that you're really crying about? What is it that you're really upset about? And I said, because I never imagined my life without loving my partner. And he said, then why would you? And I went, because we're separating. He went, but why would you? And I went, wait, I can do this loving? And it was just this whole thing that went,
yeah.
To this day. I mean, I talk to my former partner once a week at least. And when there's a crisis or so, and you've probably got children with your ex, and how do you do it from a loving perspective, right?
Yes, exactly.
And that is amazing. So it doesn't surprise me that we're having this conversation live.
At all.
Never had that conversation.
But it really just dawned on me, Reverend Fred, is that, if love is all there is, and really it's all there is, if there's something crappy that you're experiencing and don't, it's not that the universe wants you to experience something crappy. It just believes that you believe that this is part of love.
Yes.
So it's the formula is simple, and I won't say it's always the easiest thing to do.
Right.
But really, to change the trajectory, you have to start with changing the beliefs and changing. If you change your beliefs, you're going to be able to change your thoughts, which changes your emotions and your feelings and your outcomes.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important. This is not just me going, hey, come take a class, but the more you're in, taking classes, watching service, going to service, being around like-minded people, going to a practitioner, taking in a practitioner and saying, it's not that I'm having a lot of bad stuff going on, but I'm feeling myself not in a situation that I want to experience. I need, as we say, affirmative prayer is it's changing
The
for a
movement of
specific
energy.
person.
Yeah,
Movement
movement
of,
of
that's
energy.
right.
To a desired outcome. I don't like this part of this. I love this and this and this and this, but I'm feeling ill around this. All right, let's change the energy of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. What do you want to feel? So this little thing, and as you said, you know, the universe is no respecter. It doesn't care what you put into it. It just believes it's love. So that ties into this thing that I always think, for me, has summed up this chapter forever. It says, it reacts to us according to our belief in it. And it is an immutable law, subject to the use of the least among us. It is no respecter of persons, and it cannot be bound. And then it goes on to say, and this is one of my favorite parts, but since it is what it is and works in the way that it works, it appears to each through his or her belief. It is done onto each one of us as we believe. So if you can take anything from this caring month, this classes, you know, classes are a way of giving to yourself. And if you don't want to take a class, read a book, find something that is affirmative, that is takes you on a journey, makes you uncomfortable. I wish I had written it down. Dr. James Mellon wrote something on Facebook today, and I absolutely loved it. It said, uncomfortability, and this may, I'm paraphrasing. So uncomfortability is not the enemy. It is the very thing that you need to move you to where you need to be. And it can't believe that you're talking about this, because that's exactly what it says.
Yeah.
And when I read it, I was like, that's so true. How many times are we sitting there going, I don't like this. You know, I had a week from hell last week. Oh my gosh, am I ready to retire? No. This is what I needed.
Yeah.
So this
and
is
getting yourself, you know, again, getting yourself in community.
yeah.
Because even in the Bible, it says, when more than two people gather, there am I. But
That's right.
because what happens is when we're having, like, even having this conversation, what shows up, it's like, oh my God, I just realized this and I realized this, because we're in the middle of a conversation that's, you know, really just kind of moving our own energy, our own consciousness, really expanding our own consciousness. And who knows what's going to appear? It may not be related, but it's related to the up-leveling of our own energy and our own consciousness.
That is the perfect place to end this, because that is the absolute truth. And I also believe that having this conversation also lands for someone else and brings them to that place where they need to be as well. Dr. Liza, I love you so much. Time just goes by so quickly when we're together.
Way too fast. I love it. And I love you. And thank you for having me. And if anybody wants to join class, by the way, we do have 4 more classes.
Beautiful.
Let's see, this coming Tuesday, we have class, but we will not have class after that. We're taking a little break.
Okay.
So anyone can hop in at any time. We still have 4 classes left.
Beautiful.
And the books are, if you know, you can always just come and pop in and see the class. But the 2 books are Science of Mind, which even if you don't have it, I highly suggest getting it. It's worth it. Yeah. And it's called Yes, That's It, by Ernest Holmes. And the other book that we're doing is What is Consciousness, with Jean Houston, Irvin Laszlo, and Larry Dossey. So it's really wonderful. It's the exploration of consciousness, more along the lines also of how quantum physics and science fit into spirituality. So
beautiful. Well, join Dr. Liza. Dr. Liza, thank you so much for being here. That's awesome.
Always love being here. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you.
You're welcome.
The Toronto community, the GTCT community. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And at this time is a time that we ask for our giving, our donation, whatever it is. Law of circulation: as you give, you receive. You know, the center does require finances in order to be able to continue to broadcast. So I always say money's energy. Energy is love. So love is just money. Money is just energy. It's just love in action. So if you're compelled to do so, help us out. That would be great. You can go do that by going to globaltruthcentertoronto.com and making a donation there. You can also send an e-transfer to info@globaltruthcentertoronto.com. Whatever's best for you. any amount of consciousness. We say that whether it's 1 penny or whether it is $1 million, it's all the same energy. So give from that place. I wanted to say, go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. We've got a newsletter there, sign up, I get it every week. I wanted to say classes still exist with Dr. Liza, as we just said. I also wanted to announce, if you saw the newsletter, you'll see that there's a community event coming up with our very own fabulous and wonderful Pierre Gautreau and his band, Spire. They're performing on June 22nd. We're going to meet at 6 o'clock for a picnic and do a show at 7 p.m. You can get information about that through the newsletter or contact Mark Huck. So there'll be more information coming about that. Also wanted to say, just put into your consciousness, our wonderful Nick Marcelli, who is away for the next couple of weeks because he'll be doing his paneling for his ministers. He did an 8-hour exam. No, he did it in 6 hours and 25 minutes. I took the whole 8 hours when I did it, but he did it in 6 hours and 25 minutes. So wish him well on his paneling. Let's keep him in our consciousness. This moment, I want to take a moment and say thank you to the fabulous and amazing Carrie, who keeps things running in the background. Thank you so much, Carrie Garnier. You're absolutely wonderful, and we couldn't do this without you. The fabulous Pierre Gautreau. Thank you, Pierre, for bringing your consciousness here tonight. That's absolutely wonderful. And what else can I say about the fabulous Dr. Liza? You know what? I cannot wait till we can spend time. And maybe we do need to do a road trip. Maybe we need to go from LA to Palm Springs.
I'm in.
Okay, we got to figure something out. We got to do that. And you and I on a road trip from LA to Palm Springs. We're going to do it.
Yes.
It's going to happen. We just put that out there. It's going to happen. So that's wonderful. Thank you again for showing up and for this wonderful conversation and all that you do for the Toronto Spiritual Center. The Global Truth Center Toronto is so extremely grateful for you. And feedback is always wonderful. People love you. All the way from even England. We have people who watch in England and they're like, I love Dr. Liza. So.
Oh, I love being here. I love this community. I love all of you.
Well, wonderful and welcome always. You're always welcome. And so with that, wonderful. And thank you, by the way, everybody else who is bringing your consciousness here to this moment. And whether you do it today, whenever you watch, it's a perfect time for you. Thank you for bringing your consciousness. And with that, I'm going to say, Pierre, play us out.
With some fireworks.
Fireworks. Yeah, let's do that.
Feel free to sing along, at home. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just got to ignite the light and let it shine. Just own the night like the 1st of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show them what you're worth. Make them go, oh, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burn. Make them go, oh, oh, oh. You're gonna leave them falling down. You don't have to feel like a waste of space. You're original, you cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds. After a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe the reasons why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow, and when it's time, you'll know you just got to ignite the light. You let it shine. Just own the night like the 1st of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. them falling down. Boom, boom, even brighter than the moon. It's always been inside of you, and now it's time to let it through. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come and show them what you were. Make them go, oh, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burn. Make them go, oh, oh, oh. You're gonna leave them falling down. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show them what you were. Make them go, oh, 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 as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework.
Well, sound effects and all. Awesome, Pierre. Awesome. Listen, take this caring energy into the world, and just because it ends this month, don't stop caring. Keep caring. Love you all. Namaste.